Alright, this presentation will be on long division with polynomials. The objective, students will be able to use long division to simplify a rational expression. Alright, so here we have 6x to the third plus 17x squared plus 2x minus 18, all divided by 2x plus 3. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. Regular old long division. We're going to go ahead and put our fraction bar up here. And again, this is not supposed to be a 50-second process here. This is supposed to take you a while. That's why it's called long division. All right, so we have basically, here's the only difference really. I have 2x plus 3, so I've tacked on plus some number, but that's about it. Well, and I've made this a little bit longer, but it's still the same process. But anyway, so we're still focusing on the 6x to the third first, then we'll focus on 17x squared, then we'll focus on 2x, and then the negative 18. So what I have to do is I look at 2x, all right, and I have to figure out what times 2x will give me the 6x to the third. Now, yes, I understand that the 3 is there, but it just kind of tacks on, and it's going to go under the 17x squared, and we're going to subtract it from the 17x squared. So the question is, what times 2x will give me 6x to the third? And after we go through this, hopefully you'll kind of see the pattern here. So I usually look at the numbers first. You don't have to, but I usually do. So what times 2 will give you 6? Well, 3. 3 times 2 gives you the 6. And then what times x will give you x to the third? Well, x squared. So then I have 3x squared times 2x gives you 6x to the third. Now, you're not done. You don't just move on to subtraction. You still have that 3 because it is 3x squared times 2x plus 3, this whole thing on to the side here on the left. So what I have to do is, here's how I think about it. So in my head, here's what I'm doing. I'm going 3x, and this is kind of a little side note here, but all the same, here we go. So in my head, here's what I'm doing. I am distributing, okay, the 3x squared to the 2x. That's where I got the 6x to the third, and then I distribute it to the 3. The reason I'm doing that is because 2x plus 3 is the whole thing on the left there. So it's what's on top times this will equal what's underneath. So we have to consider that 3. So it's 3x squared times 3, which is a positive 9x squared. Good. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and subtract that. So when I subtract it, 6x to the third minus 6x to the third is 0. I don't need to write that. You can if you want. And then 17x squared minus 9x squared gives you your 8x squared. Good. Now we go ahead and drop down the 2x, so plus 2x. All right. Now, basically it's a rinse and repeat. So I need to ask the question, what times 2x will give me 8x squared? And plus 4. A positive 4 will give me a positive 8. Because positive 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then, what times x will give me x squared? Well, x will. So I have 4x. So 4x times 2x gives me 8x squared. And then, don't worry, I still have the 3. So I got 4x times 3, which is a positive 12x. Good. Now subtract. All right, 8x squared minus 8x squared gives me 0. You can write 0 there if you want, but I'm not going to. And then 2x minus 12x gives me negative. Be careful because you're subtracting this. This is a common error right here. A lot of students would put positive 14x. That is not true. We are subtracting what is underneath here from the 8x squared plus 2x. So we're subtracting 8x squared plus 12x from the ax squared plus 2x. So if you want to, you can go ahead and subtract, and you can put these negative signs here if you want. Okay, I usually don't, but you can absolutely do that if you need to. So it's 8x squared minus 8x squared, and then 2x minus the 12x, which gives me negative 10x. Be careful with your signs. I guarantee you that's a very common error, and if you're not careful, you will make that error. All right, oops, I marked that. I'm just going to use the eraser here real quick to get rid of that line. My bad. All right, so anyways, moving on. So then I'm going to bring down the negative 18. All right, so now I just continue on, rinse and repeat, right? So I've got what times 2x will give me negative 10x, right? So numbers, I look at negative 5 times 2 will give me negative 10, so minus 5. So minus 5 times 2x will give me negative 10x. And then, of course, I still have that plus 3, so it's negative 5 times 2x plus 3. Negative 5 times 2x is 10x, negative 10x, and the negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. That's bad. There we go. All right, and then we go ahead and subtract. Notice I don't have anything else to bring down, so this is pretty much my last step here. I'm going to go ahead and subtract these, which this becomes negative 10x minus negative 10x, which is plus, right? So I have a 0 there. And then negative 18 minus negative 15 gives you negative 18 plus 15, which is negative 3. Good. Now, how you know you're done, I mean, you just keep on going, but how you know you're done is, look, 2x. X cannot go into something without an x value at all. Therefore, I'm done. All right. And I guess you can always kind of think of it as, you know, it's negative 18. There's nothing more to bring down. That's another kind of hint that you're done. But anyways, so we have a remainder here of negative 3, which tells us basically that 2x plus 3 doesn't go into 6x to the third plus 17x squared plus 2x minus 18 evenly. Okay, you'll have a remainder. So in other words, 2x plus 3 is not a factor. Okay. All right. So recap here. Regular old division. You're looking at the first thing you're putting down here is what times 2x will give you this 6x to the third. And it really is a rinse and repeat. You do that, that 3 just kind of falls along, you tack it on, and then you're always asking that question, right? How can I get rid of that leading coefficient? In this case, a little expression because you have 8x squared, right? Oops. And then 6x to the third, 8x squared here, negative 10x. You're always looking to get rid of that. And how do you do that? With the 2x. The 3 again just kind of tags along. All right, good. Hopefully this helps. So your final answer, would be 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 with a remainder of negative 3. Good. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We'll do one more and then we'll call it good. All right, so here I've got 3x to the third plus 17x squared minus 5x plus 3. All right, so what I recommend you doing is going ahead and pausing the video, trying this one on your own, and then we'll go ahead and work through the problem. So go ahead, pause it, try it on your own, and then restart it to check to see if you did it correct. Go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on here. Hopefully you've worked this out on your own. If not, okay. But it really helps to kind of practice. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of move a little quicker here. But I have 3x squared. 3x squared gives me 3x to the third. And then that 3 tags along. I should use a different number, but that's okay. 3x squared times 3 is positive 9, so I have positive 9x squared. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract. That's a 9. There we go. And then I go ahead and subtract. I got negative. Be careful. This right here, I could see some of you guys messing up on. Very common error because it's 7 minus 9. Minus. You're subtracting this whole thing down here. You're subtracting the whole thing because how'd you get rid of this? You subtracted it. if you didn't subtract it and you got, 16 here, you should have gotten 6x to the third here. That's not the whole goal here. The goal is to get rid of this 3x to the third. All right, so that's why we're subtracting it. Negative 2x squared. All right, and I'm going to extend this. Bring down your negative 5x. And then ask the question, what times x will give you negative 2x squared? Well, negative 2x. Negative 2, oops, don't need that line. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that real quick. But negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. All right, negative 2x squared. And then we still have that plus 3, so I have negative 2x times 3, which is negative 6x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract them. Okay, that gives me 0, adding that 6, because it's minus a negative 6, that makes it plus 6, so negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1x. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring down that 3, which is plus 3. And then, there we go. And then what times x will give you x? Well, plus 1. That one's not too bad. And then, of course, 1 times x is x. And then 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract. Of course, you get 0. Good. So now what that tells me, I'm done with the problem, but what that 0 tells me is that x plus 3 is a factor of 3x to the third plus 7x squared minus 5x plus 3. It is a factor. Okay? It goes in evenly. All right.